this week, John Batsack, who was the producer, a good friend of mine, the producer of the Beckham documentary, came into the sports bar and spoke about David Beckham. He worked on that documentary for 2 years, Scott, and you've not seen the whole of it yet. You think you might have watched one set?
I've not seen any of it yet.
I've not seen any?
No.
Okay, right, okay. Well, I've watched the whole set. It's a brilliant documentary, by the way. Brilliant doc. You don't even have to like football or even like Beckham to enjoy this show.
Why is it so good?
Because it shows what it kind of covers the whole of his career, right from when he left home at 15, went up to Manchester, and how influential Sir Alex Ferguson was in his life. When he left his parents, Sandra and Ted, in Essex, and Sir Alex became his dad, essentially. Looked after him, took him under his wing. Clearly David Beckham was going to be a superstar. We didn't know how big a superstar he was going to turn out to be. In fact, I actually forgot how big a star he was. I said it was a little bit like when they went over to to Asia, when he went out on tour with Real Madrid when he made that move. It was like the Beatles and Elvis rolled up in one. He was enormous, billboards everywhere. It was David Beckham mania, and I forgot how big he was, a superstar.
But is it a very honest?
I think so.
Sincere, and
I think so.
Because quite often it can be dressed up as this is how we want things to look.
Well, the affair, or the alleged affair that he had at that particular time, when he was out in Real Madrid, they made plenty of back page, or made front page news, I should say. They kind of glossed over that a little bit, but they did explain how difficult a time that was for the pair of them. I thought Victoria came across really well. I thought the whole thing was just beautifully done, and if it was designed to make you fall in love with David Beckham, then it worked for me. I've always been a Beckham fan.
Me too.
I think he seems like a really lovely guy. I've met him a couple of times, but not on that level. He's not.
I've met him on the pitch a couple of times.
You marked him.
Didn't
Tell us
get
about
too
that.
close to him.
Did you not? He wasn't quick, though,
no,
was he?
he wasn't, and that
you were quicker than him, surely.
I don't know really, but what I would say is he was one of those that I think, if you talk about the sort of bigger picture, because of his celebrity stardom, I think people outside the immediate game didn't realise how good he was.
Right.
And you listen to the likes of Paul Scholes and Roy Keane and the like, Rio, and they talk. No, was Rio? No, actually, Rio might not have been there at the time.
He played with him. Rio, I think he was. He was.
Anyway,
Man United.
Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, who play with him.
Yeah.
The way that they don't mess about, they tell how it is, and I get that, because what he was like to play against, he was a right winger, I was a left back.
You basically come up toe to toe.
Absolutely. But where he was so clever was he wasn't the quickest. So I'm thinking, right, get as tight as you can, and then he'd play one touch because he'd know exactly where everybody is. And then if I wasn't really tight, his first touch was brilliant. His second touch was even better with those world-class crosses. And he just whipped the ball
it in front of you. So if you're standing off waiting to take him on, so you've got the extra yard, all he'll do is just whip it in front of you.
I'm thinking, and all he needs to do is just manipulate the ball inches, really. And then his ability to bend the ball was just incredible. So, and then if he didn't touch much of the ball for 10 minutes or so, he'd drift inside. And I'm now thinking, well, do I go inside to try and get close to him? Or, and I'm vacating space in behind me. He was just such an intelligent player. And there's not many times, Jace, being involved in professional football, sometimes we can get, not cynical, but we don't really get to that point where we're like true fans, like we were when we were kids, because we've been there, seen it, done it to a point. That goal against Greece, I jumped up like a true fan. And that's very unlike. That's the first time I've ever done that since I went into professional football. His at a time where no one really wanted to play for England, or should I say that it was very tough to play for England, and injuries in inverted commas were coming out. There's a big sort of divide between the media, the fans and the players, supposed golden generation, but he always turned up for his country. And he always played as if it meant absolutely everything to play for his country. So on every single level, I've got nothing but respect for that guy.
Did he always turn up? The World Cup. I don't know.
First of all, turn up as in physically turn up, because some didn't.
Yeah, well, he had.
Second of all, did he always play well? No, but then tell me who does, unless you're Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. No. He was absolutely superb for his country.
So was he world class?
Yes. So you're not quite having world class.
No,
I do
I'm not.
remember actually. It was either the first time or the second time that he met Posh Spice, and we played Manchester United at Stamford Bridge, and she was bigger than him. Sort of then it would have been what 96.
The Spice Girls were just it. They're two massive Goliaths of their worlds collide, and those two. Yeah.
So we're in the bar afterwards having a few beers as we normally do, and then suddenly we've turned around. He's gone into the players' bar as well, and Posh Spice has met up with him. So we're like,
wow.
But
was it public knowledge at that time that he was because in the doc
just kind of met.
Was it
just met?
Right, because there was a period where they were seeing one another, and it wasn't quite. They hadn't quite made it public.
Well, I don't know in terms of time frames, and someone would probably correct me.
Right.
But I think she'd gone to see I think they might have played Sheffield Wednesday the game before, but then the game after was Stamford Bridge. So it's still very, very early days, or people didn't really know about it. They're still trying to keep it quiet. But yeah, you could see that sort of happening there. So, and then obviously as a couple, I don't know whether I don't know. I don't think so because I respect his professionalism. But the Beckham brand seemed to be more important. I'm not saying it was to him, but all I would say is I've got nothing but respect for the guy. The way he got the best out of him, as you say, he wasn't the quickest, but he still just practiced, and was nothing but superb.
Yeah,
and going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
The biggest club in the world for me.
The doc, if you've not seen, go and watch it. It is a brilliant documentary. It really is well put together. And not that I didn't love Beckham, but you fall in love with him because he seems such a lovely, humble guy, and he went for a huge amount.
Yeah.
Both personally, the '98 World Cup. After that, he speaks about how Hoddle threw him under how he felt. His mum.
What does he say about Glenn?
It's almost what he doesn't say really. His mum. You come away from it thinking they felt that Hoddle, let him down badly. The way that he almost blamed him for that defeat. He went down to 10 men. And, of course, we went out on penalties. And in the other
still never a red card for me, by the way.
It's not. And Simeone comes on, and Simeone's brilliant in it. Simeone says he conned the ref.
Yeah.
He says that in the doc. The referee bought it. Beckham was silly, petulant. It's not a red card.
It's a yellow card.
It's not a red card. But
let's get VAR.
But I think, I don't think VAR would get involved in that. But I think what that also did, I think that did turn Beckham from a boy to a man. I think that situation, if you watch, you actually get close up. You get the inside track of actually what was going through his mind, and he was vilified, mate. He was booed.
Could you imagine if social media was about then?
Well, this moves on to the Harry Maguire situation that we spoke about in the week.
Can I just say just about Beckham? What happened the following season?
Yeah, won the double.
Won the treble.
Won the treble, and then a year after that, he scores that free kick against Greece. So he's gone from being vilified to a national hero.
Absolute hero.
And one thing that really is his mental strength. And, yes, everyone goes through tough times, and everyone's that has to bite down on the gum shield at times and get through things.
Not many go through that.
No, not many do go through that. But he went through being publicly hated. Hated is the word. And he comes out of it. He's lovely family. He loves his family. Loves his wife. They're really close knit, and it was a great doc because you see the whole lot, Scott. The whole
as long as it looks honest.
I think it is honest.
I think some of these documentaries can be dressed up because we want to project this image. But
I think there is. I'm sure there's things that we perhaps don't know all about, but I don't think we necessarily. It does go into what. The highs and basically it's the highs and the lows.
Yeah, and do you know what? That's the same.
There are plenty of both.
No, and that happens in life. So again, resilience. He's one of the perfect examples, and that's why I think the call to Harry Maguire was an absolute spot on. Tell him to accentuate what did he go through, what did he concentrate on, and at some point, funny enough, the missus and I, we don't really have much the same taste in films or whatever, but she actually said to me, "Do you want to watch the Beckham thing?" So yeah, we will.
Make a date
when she's back from China.
Make a date for that. It really is brilliant. But it's also maybe I'm being. I think he's the best crosser of a ball I've ever seen, and probably the best set piece taker I've ever seen. But yeah, I don't think he was world class. But I kind of contradict myself a little bit. If he's the best I've ever seen,
so why don't you think he's world class?
I just don't think that he's on the level of players. I'm not sure that I can put him in a bracket of a Ronaldo.
Well, no, he's not.
A Messi.
No,
I don't think he's that. I think,
but that doesn't mean you can't be world class. What does world class mean to you?
I think you've got to be the best in your. I don't think there are world class. How many world class players can there be? I mean, can there be 50?
I think
Can there be 100?
I think everybody would have a different definition of what world class means. For me, world class means if he's in a world 11, does he look out of place? And I think Beckham at some point in his career wouldn't look out of place in a world 11.
No, maybe not out of place, but I don't know whether it's... I don't know. Everyone's got their own definition. I find that world class bracket gets... I mean,
banded around far too much.
I think it does. I mean, how many England players...
One of the best in the world. And
I don't know whether he was, mate. I don't know whether he was.
You'd want him in your team.
Yeah.
If the aliens came down and said, "Look, I'll tell you what, right?
Isn't it amazing? You're the alien one.
We're not going to bomb you. We're not going to throw some kind of asteroid at you. But what we'll do, we'll have a game of football, right? So, and then whoever wins, if we lose, we'll go back home."
So he played with Zidane. Zidane for me was world class.
Zidane was world class.
I don't put him in that bracket.
Yeah, but
then
I think there's levels of world class because Messi and Ronaldo were two of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
And I think Zidane is just a little bit below that.
R9 was world class.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I don't put Beckham there.
I mean, I actually put R9 better than Cristiano.
Yeah, I don't
personally. But again, now we're talking about just subjectivity.
R9 was just off the clock, wasn't he? Before that injury, he was off the clock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I covered Ronaldo.
Figo?
I covered Ronaldo and Messi for 4 years, every single La Liga match. So I was paid to watch them, and it was a pleasure. Ronaldo, to keep up with Messi, realised that he couldn't do what Messi did. So he was a box player. He became a box player. I actually think that Ronaldo was a better footballer first time round at United. But he went to Real Madrid and realised that to keep up with Messi, he needs to score goals. I got nothing but respect for Ronaldo.
Is he the best goal scorer ever, R7? I mean, let's say Ronaldo. We've got to say R7 or R9, right?
Yeah.
The best goal scorer
Possibly.
ever?
Possibly.
I think he is, isn't he?
Pele got to be up there, isn't he?
Was he all that good, Pele?
Was he?
I don't know, was he? No, he scored a couple... I don't know. Everyone tells me he was brilliant. I mean, I don't know. He scored an overhead kick and escaped the victory.
I think look at this...
It's a good finish.
Didn't he actually say, no, we can win this, instead of like going down the hole and escaping?
Was it him?
Was it him?
Was it Pele? No, I don't want to go home. I want to play the Germans. I want to score an overhead kick.
Let me finish about Ronaldo though, because it's I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me because, as I say, I covered every single La Liga match for 4 years, and I saw the numbers that Messi did and the numbers that Ronaldo did. He kept up with them. He kept up with him. But what he couldn't do was run the game in the way that Messi did as well. No. So he said, right, I'm becoming an absolute in-between-the-sticks box player. Benzema, on paper, looks like he's a centre-forward. He's not. He's coming in off the left, Ronaldo, and he's 1-2 finisher. One of the greatest finishers ever this planet has seen. But to do what he did to Messi. So I feel that R9 was actually better. Again, that's my opinion. I think Messi was the greatest ever alongside Maradona. I'm not going to put Beckham anywhere near that, of course. No. But Beckham would still, for me, get in a World 11 at some point during his career.
I'm in the minority. I did see on social media the other day, someone put together, chronologically put together, the times that Messi and Ronaldo played against one another in La Liga, obviously Barcelona and Real Madrid. And you watch the goals, so then Messi would maybe go 2 or 3 up, and then Ronaldo would catch up. Do you know how many goals in the time they were there? And I'm pretty sure that I'm right. How many goals Messi scored and how many goals Ronaldo scored in La Liga games against
Clásicos?
How many goals?
Go on.
In the time, Messi 22, Ronaldo 21. I mean, that is. You think about that. Those two alone, over 40 goals.
That's incredible.
In those games against one another.
I remember covering a game and it was 2-2 at half time. Messi scored 2, Ronaldo scored 2. I mean, and I said, as the link to break, I didn't say Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 2. I said Messi 2, Ronaldo 2.
Well, there you go, right? They push one another. I think they both openly admit that the reason that they turned out to be
absolutely
as good as they did is they pushed one another and they continue to push
Final one on that. I've got nothing but respect for Cristiano Ronaldo because he was, something like 5-1 down in the Ballon d'Ors. And, he was always the bridesmaid, never the bride, or hardly ever. And yet he said, no, I'm going to, and I think it's something like 7-6 now.
Is that right?
It incredible mentality. But Messi, for me, was better.
I totally agree with that. One word, who wins the Ballon d'Or this year? Or this?
Oof. Don't we have to wait until... Well, oh, sorry, no. Actually, I would go Haaland.
I'd go Haaland as well.
I'd go Haaland over Messi.
I think if Haaland doesn't win it, it's a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace. Messi will win it because he won the World Cup. But if Haaland...
you've gone too far there.
No, it's a disgrace.
So what you're saying is...
Haaland should win it.
What you're saying is if Messi wins it, it's a disgrace.
I totally agree. Yes. Oh, you said that, or am I saying it?
You're saying that.
I'm saying it. Are you agreeing with me?
I'm not agreeing with you there. I think Haaland should win it because of what he's done over the whole...
If Haaland doesn't win it, he's the best player. You can't do what he did. Messi won the World Cup. Well done. You played in PSG.
Yeah, but winning the World Cup. No.
I know, but just because you win the World Cup
that gives you an
mean...
extra few bonus points, that.
Yeah, but Haaland, come on.